All right, class. I'm going to help you guys get your virtual machine set up for the next phase for ITNW 2456, which is the 70-411 book. So here is the lab setup guide. I'm going to walk you guys through this here right now. So first part we're going to do, guess what? Virtual switches. But if you've already completed the first class, guys, the 410, you don't have to create the switches anymore. Because it says right here, if you've already created, you can skip this section and move on to the server setup. So you guys do not have to worry about the switches. So what we're going to do now, we're going to set up our virtual machines. And here are the settings for the first virtual machine. We're going to set up a new server called RWDC01. We're going to put your initials on this one because that's the one connected to the classroom network since it's on the external switch. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's go ahead and open up Hyper-V Manager. And as you guys can see, I don't have any virtual machines set up on my laptop right now. On the right-hand side, well, make sure you have your computer name selected on the left. As you guys can see, I have my computer selected on the left. So over here on the right in Actions, I'm going to click on New. I'm going to select Virtual Machine. On the Before You Begin page, like we've done before, go ahead and click Next. On the Specify Name and Location page, this one is going to be your initials -RWDC01. All right, so I'm going to put AA because you guys are going to probably be in the morning class. For my initials -RWDC01. All right, after I got the name in, go ahead and hit next. For the generation, since we're using 2012 R2, we need generation 2 and click next. On the assigned memory page, go ahead and put 1536 megabytes of RAM and do not use dynamic memory and click next. On the configure networking page for the first NIC, where it says not connected, hit the drop down, go ahead and select your private switch. Once that's selected, go ahead and click next. On the Create Virtual Hard Disk page, we are going to use the default settings. We're going to do the dynamically expanding with 127 gigabytes. Go ahead and click next. On the installation options page, now, hopefully you guys still have your ISO image for the Server 2012 x64 eval file. So go ahead and choose the second option for install an operating system from a bootable image file. Hit your browse button. Some of you guys might have it on your desktop. I have mine saved to the root of my C drive, so I'm going to basically highlight it here for my C drive, and it gets selected. All right, and once you got that done, go ahead and click next. And on your installation, that's done. On your summary page, always check your description page, guys. Always check this. If this looks good, if you've been following me, you'll have no problem. Go ahead and click finish. And our WDC01 is now created. But what we need to do next, we need to add a second NIC. To add the second NIC is simple. Right-click RWDC01 up here at the top in the virtual machines window. Go to settings. That's going to bring up your settings for RWDC01 up. Notice add hardware is already selected on the left, and on the right hand side the add hardware pane appears. Highlight the network adapter. Once you got that highlighted, go ahead and click add. The second NIC has been added, but we need to connect it to a virtual switch. So up here at the top where it says virtual switch, I want you to connect this one to your external. All right, choose your external. Once you got external selected, go ahead and click apply. It applies the changes. Virtual machine's ready. Go ahead and click OK. And our WDC01 is done. All right. Before we start the installation, let's go ahead and create the other two virtual machines in your list. So let's go back to the lab setup guide. All right, we'll come down here and we're going to get into virtual machine number 2. It's roughly the same thing. The only thing is this one's going to be called server 01. Notice there are no initials. You do not need to put initials in this one. All right, no initials. Okay. We're going to increase the memory to 1536, but everything else is pretty much the same and only one NIC. Let's go ahead and create this one. And also, we also come down to server 02. It's the same thing as server 01, just a different name. Generation 2, 1536 megs of RAM, not the 1280. I got to rewrite this, and roughly the same setup. All right, let's go down to that. Let's go back to Hyper-V Manager. On the right-hand side in the Actions pane again, go ahead and click on New. Select Virtual Machine. And on the Before You Begin page, like we've always done before, go ahead and click Next. On the specified name and location, go ahead and type in server 01. All right, no initials, guys. Don't need initials for this one. All right. Once you got server 01 for the name, go ahead and click next. On the generation page, choose generation 2 again and click next. For the memory, let's bump it up to 1536 megs, roughly 1.5 gigs. Take out dynamic memory for now and click next. On the configure networking page, add this one to the private switch. Once you got that selected, go ahead and click next. On your virtual hard disk page, we're going to use the default virtual hard drive as it is. We're not going to make any changes here, so go ahead and click next. On your installation options page, again, choose the installation of operating system from bootable image file. So choose the second radio button, hit the browse button, and go find your server 2012 R2 x64 eval file, wherever you have it stored. Select it. Once it's selected, go ahead and click next. And on your description pane, double check everything. It looks good. Go ahead and click finish. All right, server 01 is now being created. We don't need to add a second NIC to this one. That one's good to go. Now for your third virtual machine, server 02, go ahead and click new again and select virtual machine from the actions pane. And again, before you begin page, next. Specify name and location page. This one's going to be called server 02. No initials needed. Leave it as server 02. Hit next. On your specified generation page, choose generation 2 and hit next. On the memory page, again, 1536 megabytes or roughly 1.5 gigs, and take out the check mark for dynamic memory and click next. On the configure networking page, again, we're going to select the private switch. Once private selected, go ahead and click next. And on the connect to virtual hard disk page, we're going to leave the default settings for the virtual hard drive, dynamically expanding 127 gigs. Hit next again. And your installation options page. Again, choose the second radio button. Hit browse. Look for your ISO image file, server 2012 x64 eval. Once you got it selected, go ahead and click next. And finally, on the completion page, look at your description. Check the name, generation, memory, network, and hard disk and operating system. If it looks good, click finish. All right, so we got our 3 virtual machines created. We can now start the installation. Let's just do one at a time for now. Let's go to RWDC01, double click it. Brings up the virtual machine connection window. Go ahead and click start. Watch your screen, guys, because don't forget, you're going to get that pop-up that says press any key to boot from CD/DVD. That means you press any key on your keyboard to start the installation of Windows. Go ahead and hit start. There's the message. Got it just in time. If you guys get this Windows Setup EMS enabled, just press enter. You might or might not get this message. I just pressed enter. If any of you guys get the Pixie boot screen, which I cannot show you here right now because I'm actually doing the installation. You guys see this button over here where my mouse is at? Click on that. That's your Control-Alt-Delete. That will actually restart your virtual machine so you can try and boot it up again and press any key to boot from CD/DVD. All right. Okay, Windows Setup popped up. On your Windows Setup screen, your language, time and currency, and keyboard format already set up for us. English US. Go ahead and click next. On the next page that appears for Server 2012 R2, go ahead and click Install Now, because we cannot repair. And setup is starting. And now we get the additions of Windows Server 2012 R2. All right, since this is an eval, we got 4 additions: Core with the GUI, and Server Data Center with the GUI and Core. So we want the 4th one, Data Center Evaluation with the GUI. Make sure you select this one, hit next. And then your license agreement telling you what you can and cannot do with the software. Go ahead and accept the license terms and hit next. On the type of installation we can do, we only can do custom because we have nothing to upgrade from. So click on custom Windows installation only. And now we get to the portion where we select the virtual hard drive. Drive 0 is already highlighted for us. Go ahead and click next. Windows Setup will start and automatically partition and format the hard drive for us. All right, and we're going to let that install. So that's a long, boring part. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to multitask here. I'm going to minimize this virtual machine. I'm going to go to server 1 now, and I'm going to start its installation. All right, so I'm going to turn this one on again, just like we did RWDC1, and press any key to boot from CD/DVD is going to appear. Get ready to tap that keyboard, guys. There it is. Yep, Windows EMS setup. Press enter. And here we go. All right. Windows setup again. Since we just did RWDC01, this should be familiar to you guys already. On the language, time and currency, hit next. Install now. And then we get a moment where it just says setup is starting. And we're going to get the 4 editions of Windows. And there they are. All right, so we're going to choose the data center with the GUI, which is the bottom one. Once that's selected, go ahead and click next. And on your Windows setup page, license agreement. Accept the license agreement, hit next. Type of installation you want to do, of course, custom again. And on your install Windows drive 0 is already selected. Go ahead and click next. And that drive will be automatically partitioned and formatted. And the installation begins. That one's going. I'm going to go ahead and minimize server 01. I'm going to go take a look at RWDC01. It's at 67% and climbing. And let's start server 02. All right, so I got server 02 up here. I'm going to hit start again. You guys could do the same if you want. If you want to do one at a time, go ahead and do one at a time. All right, press any key to boot from CD/DVD is going to appear any moment. Oh, this time I missed it. So it's trying to do Pixie Boot, so I'm going to hit the Control Delete button up here with my keyboard on my mouse. And I'm going to try it again. There we go. I got it this time. Come on, hurry up. You can do it. All right, now we're back on server 02 now. We got the Windows setup screen. Language, time, currency, and keyboard method. You're good to go. Hit next. Install now again. And it says setup starting again. We got a little bit of a pause here. Don't forget. And then we'll see the 4 different versions of Windows that we can install. That'll be appearing here in just a moment. There they are. Again, choose the one on the bottom. Server Data Center Evaluation Server with the GUI. Got that selected, hit next. And on the license agreement, accept it again. Don't worry, Microsoft's not going to do anything bad to you. Hit next. On the what type of installation, again, do custom because we cannot do an upgrade. We don't have server 2008 or 2008 R264 to upgrade from. And on the hard drive, drive 0 is already selected for you. Click next to partition or format the drive and start the installation of Windows. All right, so server 02 starts the installation now. I'm going to go ahead and minimize that one. Let's go back and check our first server. Let's go back to RWDC01. It looks like it just did its first reboot. So it's getting ready to come back up for the first time. Server 01's at 56%. It's working on it. And server 02's still at the beginning. We'll come back to that one last. What we need to focus on is RWDC01. All right, let's go back to that document. So we started the installation of RWDC01. So let's go back up to this document. And we've basically already configured the virtual machine. So now we are doing the installation. The installation is about to finish. So once we get this virtual machine up and running, here's where we're going to start off. We're going to set up the password. Like I said, guys, go ahead and use your own password. Don't use the one the book wants, that $$W0RD. All right. If you want to, you can use it. Don't forget our time zone, Mountain Time, US and Canada. If you have to change the date, I doubt you do. But if you do, don't forget to change it. And make sure you guys turn off the IE Enhanced Security Configuration. And don't forget to rename the NICs. And when you rename the NICs, make sure you look for the one that says MCSA2012.com on it. That's your external NIC. You see how I have the arrow pointing here? Look for that name, MCSA2012. We're going to see that here in a little bit. Let's go check on RW. Password. All right, guys, set up your password the way you want it. All right, enter my password. I'm going to go ahead and hit finish. Finalizing your settings. And now we get to the Control-Alt-Delete screen. All right, so there we are. Let's go ahead and log in. All right, if you guys remember, you guys can press Control-Alt-Delete up here under File, where my mouse is at, or if you prefer your keyboard, you guys can hit Control-Alt-End. Since this is a virtual, use Control-Alt-End. And you guys get to the administrator logon screen. Since this is the very beginning, guys, I know you guys remember the datum administrator. We're gonna have a totally different one. This is brand new. All right, so we're starting from the beginning again. So we just have a local administrator right now. So let's go ahead and just log in with that account. I'm gonna change my external NIC here really quick, just because I'm here at home and I'm on my Wi-Fi. So I want to use my external Wi-Fi switch. There we go. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Server manager should be loading here in just a moment. There it is. And I know some of you guys might be wondering, can we full screen this again? How do we do it, Ms. Rodriguez? Oh, there's a pop-up for connecting to the network. I'm going to click yes to this. Find other computers on the network. If you want to change your desktop, just right-click your desktop background, the gray background, and go to screen resolution. And when you guys get to screen resolution, don't forget you guys can change it right here. All right, I'm gonna set to 1920 by 1080. I'm gonna go full screen. All right, and keep changes. All right, there we go. Now it's nice and full screen, so I'm gonna click OK there. All right, server manager is still loading up. Still got that little bar going across the top up here where my mouse is at. See it right there? That means it's still working. And what I'm gonna try right now, here's what we need to do. On the left-hand side, this is where I want you guys to start. Click on local server, guys. We're going to set up all the settings that that document has. All right. So the properties window over here is going to load. And it looks like it's just about, yep, it's fully loaded. All right. First thing we need to change first, here in the properties window, over here on the right, time zone. Click on where it says Pacific time. Time and date window dialog box is going to appear. We need to come down here where it says change the time zone, click change time zone, and the time zone settings page appears. Hit the drop down menu, and you will get the list of time zones. Go down 4, and you'll see Mountain Time. Click OK. That's done. Click OK. Your time zone's done. Notice that it doesn't display right away. If you want to, you guys can hit refresh from the task pane up here on the top right. There it is. Now it's Mountain. Next item, IE Enhanced Security Configuration says it's on. We're going to turn it off for lab purposes because we might need to use Internet Explorer for labs. So let's turn it off because it's going to hinder some of the labs if we leave it on. All right, so that's going to go off. Let's refresh that again. Did I hit refresh? There we go. It's off. All right, now we need to set up the NICs next. Over here on the left-hand side, you got Ethernet and Ethernet 2. Just to the right of them, we have the text that's going to bring up the window called Network Connections. So we click on one of those, the Network Connections window appears. All right, now I don't see MCSA2012.com on my screen because I'm at home. I'm not on the school network, so it detects a network here. This one says unidentified, so since this one's detecting a network, this has to be my external. I'm going to verify that. I'm going to go to status. By God, it is. That's my home network. Those are the IP addresses. All right, so that is my external NIC. So I'm going to right click my NIC. I'm going to go to rename. I'm going to call that external, which means my other NIC is going to be my private NIC. All right, now I got NICs renamed. You guys do the same thing. On your external, just like we did with the other ones, we need to go to the properties and we're going to turn off IP version 6 again. Since this is the external, leave it as DHCP, so obtain an IP address automatically for IP version 4, that's fine. That NIC is done. For the private NIC, now, according to the document for the lab setup, we need to do the same thing. We need to turn off IP version 6 again, so make sure you guys go to properties. And for the IP address, we're actually going to use a different IP address. So double click IP version 4 and go ahead and select use the following IP address. Your IP address for RWDC01's private NIC is going to be 192. Don't forget to hit numlock, guys. This is Hyper-V. That numlock key has to be on. Yes, I know it gets annoying. All right, 192.168.1.50. Sun and mask will be a Class C Sun and mask 255.255.255.0. Your default gateway, there's no other default gateway to use, so leave it blank. And the preferred DNS server is going to be itself, so we're going to use the loopback address again, 127.0.0.1. Once you have that, click OK, and you're done. Go ahead and click OK, and that's done. Your NICs are now set up for RWDC01. Now, up here on the top left-hand corner, look at your computer name. Win dash a bunch of numbers and letters that mean gibberish. You need to change that, all right? We need to change it because this is the true name of Windows on the network. This is just a Hyper-V name up here at the top. Don't pay attention to this, guys. Pay attention to this name because this is the name your users look for on your network. So right here in the computer name, click Win dash a bunch of numbers and letters and your system properties dialog box is going to appear. For the computer name, some people like to put it in the description. Guess what? That's the description. That's not the name. All right. So what you want to come down here where it says change. Click the change button. Now that says computer name, right? All right. Okay. So here's what you do. Put your initials again. Dash RWDC01. All right. Your initials dash RWDC01. Some guys might be wondering, what does RWDC stand for? RWDC actually stands for Read Write Domain Controller because we're actually going to set the server up as a read write domain controller for your domain. All right. Once you got that name set up, go ahead and click OK at the bottom. Windows is going to think about it to see if anybody else is using that same name. And if it's not, you must restart your computer, apply these changes. All right, click OK to that message. Goes back to system properties. Triangle appears at the bottom of the system properties window. Changes will take effect after you restart this computer. Guys, don't forget to read these messages. Click close. All right, once you click close, it says you must restart your computer to apply these changes. Yeah, we know that already, Windows, but they actually give us a restart now button. Guys, go ahead and click restart now. And RWDC01 is going to reboot. While RWDC01 reboots, let's go take a look at the other two servers, see how their progress is. Server 01's done. Server 02's done. While RWDC01's rebooting, let's go ahead and put the same password on server 1 and server 02. So on server 01, same password you guys have been using on RWDC01. All right, go to server 02 now and do the same thing. Set up the same password for your administrator account. All right. Looks like server 1 and server 2 now have their passwords. Okay, back on RWDC. All right. Look at this window. Connect to RWDC1. Remember, I told you guys, don't hit the connect button, because if you do, it will change this window from virtual machine connection to remote desktop. And I'm going to guarantee you guys, you're going to have logon errors if you try to use remote desktop. So click the close button. All right. Now, full screen again, Control N to log on. And let's set up the, well, we got to log in with our password. All right. Now, since I did connect the right external switch, you'll notice on the bottom right here, Windows license valid for 180 days. That means Windows is activated. It used the internet to activate it. That's good. Because if you don't activate it, if it says Windows license is expired, that basically means that the virtual machine will shut off after every hour of use. Make sure you get that 180 days, guys. All right. Now, Server Manager is loading. We have done the initial configuration of Windows. The next thing we need to do is we need to install 2 roles. If you guys remember, the 2 roles that we need to install are Active Directory Domain Services and Routing and Remote Access, which is part of the Remote Access role. Now, if you guys remember, how do we install it? Add roles and features, right? So let's go up here to Manage. And from Manage, we're going to select Add roles and features. And some of you guys might be, hey, Mr. Rodriguez, you guys got red tiles here. Don't worry about that. Those are just services that haven't started yet. All right. They're delayed start services. All right. Add roles and features wizard appears on your screen. Just like we've done before, on the Before You Begin page, go ahead and click Next. On the Select Installation Type page, role-based or feature-based installation has been selected for us. Go ahead and click Next again. And on, whoa, let me go back. All right, server selection page, RWDC01 should be highlighted. That's good. Go ahead and click Next. And on your server roles page, here we go. On your role selection, second option, Active Directory Domain Services. Go ahead and put a check mark in the box. And when you're prompted to add features, go ahead and click Add Features. Give it a moment to add it. And I want you guys to scroll down to the bottom, and you guys will see Remote Access. Go ahead and put a check mark in Remote Access. And it's thinking. And okay, there it goes. There it goes. All right. You weren't prompted for adding features, but you will here in a little bit. All right. Now we got the role selected. Go ahead and click Next. And now we get to Select Features page. We don't have any additional features we want to add. We're going to leave it as is. So go ahead and click Next. And now we get to the Active Directory Domain Services page, which talks about Active Directory. You guys already know a lot of this already, especially being the first phase with me. Go ahead and click Next. Now on the remote access page, this talks about routing, remote access, direct access, VPN, web application proxy. We're actually going to talk about that in chapter 10 and 11 in this book for the 411 book. So that'll be coming up. Go ahead and click Next. Now on your select role services, we need to add some stuff for routing and remote access to work properly. So I want you guys to put a check mark in routing. When you select routing, well, you're going to get prompted to add features. So go ahead and click Add Features. And you will notice that direct access and VPN got selected with it. Leave that. That's normal. It requires that. Okay. Now that that's done, go ahead and click Next. And then, wow, web server. I didn't select web server. Well, you didn't. When you guys selected the role services for remote access, it selected web server for us. That's why it's popping up. Go ahead and click Next on the web server role page. And the role services page appears. And you're going to notice, well, some stuff is already selected for us. Routing and remote access did that for us as well. So you don't need to modify anything here. So leave everything as it is. Go ahead and click Next. Now, on your Confirm Installation Selections page, it's going to show a list of all the roles and features that are going to be installed. Don't worry about the Restart Destination Computer. Leave it as is. Leave it blank. Go ahead and click on Install. All right. Now your installation begins. Now we basically got to sit and wait for about a minute or so while these roles and features install, and then we can start the configuration process. All right, and if you guys are probably wondering, did those tiles go green yet? No. Well, don't forget, guys, you guys have the refresh button up here at the top. And let's see what happens. Yep, there they go. Told you guys, they're going to go green. They're delayed start services, nothing to worry about. Well, this installation looks like it's going to take a little while. Installation started. Just kick back, take a little break at your desk. If you're on your laptop, probably surf the internet for a little bit. Go check the news, check the weather. I'm checking the weather. It's raining outside over here. Installation just finished. All right. So now the installation's done. Don't click close, because I want you guys to click on this link right here. Promote the server to a domain controller. You guys see that link? Now, if you did close this window, you guys can access the same thing by clicking at the flag up here at the top, and you'll see the same link, promote the server to a domain controller. Okay? So go ahead and click that link, and we're going to start the Active Directory Domain Services Configuration Wizard. We're going to set up a brand new domain, guys. We're going to get rid of a datum, and now we're going to move on to a new domain called Contoso. Now, you guys remember the number that you guys used on the last domain? I want you guys to use the same number. All right. Now that the options, once they become active, just like mine just did, again, select Add a New Forest, and I want you guys to type in Contoso, your number, I'm going to put X for mine, .com. All right. Contosos, Charlie, Oscar, November, Tango, Oscar, Sierra, Oscar, your number.com. All right. I used an X. All right. Once you got your domain name set up, go ahead and click Next. And we're going to get the domain controller options page appear here in just a moment. There it is. Forest function level, domain function level, 2012 R2. That's good. DNS is going to be installed. That's good. So is global catalog. We need that as well. So don't change those. Well, you really can't change global catalog because it's grayed out. Your password, directory services or store mode. We're actually going to use that this book because we're going to do backups. So use the same password for your administrator account for now because for lab purposes. Normally this would be different. And once you got your password set up, go ahead and click Next. Now, on the DNS options page, it appears it says a delegation for this DNS server cannot be created because the authoritative parent zone cannot be found. Well, of course it can't be found. The DNS zone hasn't been created yet, so that's okay. Just go ahead and click Next. And now we're going to get to the NetBIOS name. The NetBIOS name is the same name as your domain name without the .com at the end. So you guys will see just Contoso, your number, appear automatically here in just a moment in this text box. Once it appears, you will be able to click Next at that point. And there it is. See, mine just popped in automatically. Next is available. Go ahead and click Next. All right, now we get to the paths page, which will momentarily appear. And on the paths page, it shows the default locations for your Active Directory database, your log files, and your sysvol folder. We leave those as is. We don't change those. So go ahead and click Next again. And now we're going to get to the review options page. This shows us all the selections we have chosen. They look good. Go ahead and click Next. And the scary part, the prerequisite check. If this passes, you should get a green circle or the white check right up here at the top left-hand corner. And it says the computer passed all prerequisite checks successfully. If you guys don't get a passing checkmark box, let me know. I will come over and help you. Call your instructor. There it is. All prerequisite checks passed successfully. Click Install. So I'm going to click Install here at the bottom. And Active Directory is now going to be installed and configured. Well, it's already been installed. Now it's going to be configured on RWDC01. RWDC01 is going to be your domain controller. All right, guys. Now, if you guys remember from the last book, you're always going to need to have your domain controller booted up because it runs your domain. So for every lab that we're going to do, RWDC01 has to be up and running. All right. And then we'll boot up the necessary virtual machines of server 01, server 02 if we need to boot those up. If you guys notice here, look, it's installing DNS right there. Remember I told you guys Active Directory knocks out 2 birds with 1 stone? There's proof. It installs Active Directory and DNS and configures them both for you.
All right, we should be ready almost to get to the end of the installation. Um, your server's going to automatically reboot on you guys. All right, just get prepared for that. It's going to automatically reboot. There it is. Installation is done. You're about to be signed out. You can click close. Your virtual should reboot within the next 30 seconds, and your domain will be ready to rock. Also, the local administrator account on server A, RWDC1, just became the domain administrator now. So now we're going to log in with the Contoso, your number / administrator account. That's your domain login now. Watch this. You're going to see this when it reboots here in just a moment. All right, virtual's coming back up. If you guys get the black screen of death where your virtual machine stays on a black screen, just like mine was just a little moment ago, if it never comes back up, just close your virtual machine out here at the top, like this. Just close it out, go back to Hyper-V Manager, and double click RWDC01 from Hyper-V Manager, and that'll bring it back up. And mine doesn't want to come up. There we go. Come on, RW. There you are. Oh, there's a connection window. Close it out. Okay, RWDC1's almost done loading up here. Guys, I'm gonna give my computer a bit of a boost here a moment. Let me do something here real quick to my laptop. All right, applying security policy to the system. All right. Watch this, guys. Go log in. Press Control and again. Look at your account, guys.
You see that? Contoso, your number, /administrator. This is the account that I want you guys to use throughout most of the labs here, all right? Basically all of them, all right? That's your domain administrator account. Notice it doesn't say RWDC01 administrator, server 01 administrator, server 02 administrator. It's Contoso, your number, /administrator. All right, go ahead and log in. And let's set up the router because your domain and DNS is running. Okay, server manager is going to load here any moment. All right, server manager is loading. Wait for the tiles to all load up here. Wow, it's taking forever this time. Come on, server manager, load. Well, if yours is loaded, I'm going to try it. There it goes. Click on tools, guys. See tools up here at the top right? Let's go to tools. And let's come down here to routing remote access to set up a router. So we're going to go here to routing remote access. And in a moment, there she is, the routing remote access window. I'm going to try and center this window up here just a moment. All right. Now, in the routing remote access window, once it loads, just like mine, over here on the left, you see your computer name, local, and there's a little red arrow pointing down. That means it's not configured. So let's configure it. Right-click RWDC01 here on the left, and select Configure and Enable Routing Remote Access. And the welcome wizard appears for routing remote access. Go ahead and click Next. On the configuration page, go ahead and choose the second option of network address translation and select Next. And on the NAT interconnection page, use this network or public network interface to connect to the internet has already been selected for us. So all you need to do is highlight your external NIC and make sure it's the one that says DHCP on it. And it should have the classroom IP address of 192.168.206. something. Mine's a little different here. Go ahead and click Next once you have it highlighted. And that's it. On the completion page, go ahead and click Finish. And you might get a message saying that it's unable to start routing remote access. That's because the service hasn't been started yet. Click OK to this message. the remote access service will start up, and this window will disappear, and this window appears. Please wait while the service starts and finishes initialization. Takes about 30 to 40 seconds to complete this. It's not too long. There, she starts to disappear. She's taking forever. There she is. That's it. Routing remote access is done. Now it's going to populate with some protocols here on the left-hand pane in the console tree. And there it is. Your router's done. All right. Guys, go ahead and close out the routing remote access window. So close that out. One more thing we need to do. Do you guys see your power icon down here on the bottom? Go ahead and click on it. And I want you guys to select more power options. And when you guys select more power options, the power options page is going to appear. I want you guys to select high performance. And then I want you guys to come up here to click change plan settings. And I want you guys to turn off the setting for battery and plugged in to never. For the turn off display setting, set them both to never. This will actually prevent your virtual machine from automatically locking the screen after 10 to 15 minutes of inactivity. Save changes. When it goes back to power options, you can close it out. RWDC1 is done. Leave RWDC1 running because that's your domain controller. Minimize it. Now let's go to server 1. Let's set up server 1 now, guys. Go ahead and Control-Alt-Delete on the screen or hit the button. Put your password in and log in. Let me kill some programs here real quick. And leave that alone. All right, server 1's loading. If you guys want to change your desktop again, like I said, just right click the desktop on the virtual, go to screen resolution. Change it to 1920 by 1080. And, oops, keep changes. Click OK. Server manager still loading. Let's let server manager load. And setting up server 1 and server 02 are going to be extremely quick and simple. Let's let server manager load. While server manager is loading for this one, if we can quickly enough, log into server 02. Go ahead and log into that puppy. And let's go back to server 1. All right. On server manager again, let's go back to local server on the left on server 01. So we can change the same settings that we've done before. All right. Settings page loads and has been loaded. Okay, first thing again, time zone, guys. Change it from Pacific to Mountain. So click on the link in Pacific time over here on the right. Date and time window page appears. Hit change time zone. And we'll go to Mountain time. That's done. IE Enhanced Security Configurations on. Click the on link. And when it appears with the IE Enhanced Security Configuration dialog box, change them both to off and click OK. And if you want, hit refresh from the tasks button up here at the top right. All right, we only have one NIC we need to modify over here on the left for Ethernet. So go ahead and click on IPv4 address assigned by DHCP. And that's going to bring up the network connections window here in just a moment. Once that window appears, you can see your Ethernet adapter. Rename it to private so we know that it's on the private network. All right, once you got it renamed, press enter to save it, or now right click it and go to properties. And when you get to the properties of your NIC, again, take off IP version 6, double click IP version 4, put a dot and use the following IP address. Now the IP address for this one, according to the handout, is, oh, don't forget to hit numlock, 192.168.1.60 with the default subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. Now this one has a default gateway. It's RWDC1, so put 192.168.1.50. And the same thing for the DNS address, 192.168.1.50. Once you got that done, go ahead and click OK at the bottom and click OK in the private properties. Your NIC has been fully configured. And you guys can close out the network connections window. Oh, there's a little network fly out. Go ahead and click yes to that if it appears. If you didn't click it in time and it closed on you, don't worry about it. It's not going to affect anything. All right, close the network connections window. The last thing we need to do to this virtual machine is rename it and add it to the domain. We're actually going to do both at the same time. Right here, the computer name. Look at that. Gibberish again, right? Got to change it. Click on the link for the computer name. Come down to the change button when the system properties dialog box appears. And then there it is. Let's change it to server 01. All right. And once you got server 01, go ahead and put a dot in domain and type in a datum, your number. Nope. Run a new domain, right, guys? Contoso, right? I'm messing up already. Contoso, your number.com. Click OK. After you type in contosoyournumber.com, and hopefully you should get welcome to the contoso.com domain. Nope. We need the administrator privileges from the Contoso domain. So for the username, now here's a good thing. See where it says domain right here? It's already got contoso.com. So just type in administrator in the username and put your password in for the domain administrator account. Click OK. Give it a moment. We should get a welcome message here any moment. Watch it. It's going to tell me enter the wrong username and password. Oh, no, got it right. All right, there it is. Welcome to the contoso.com domain. Go ahead and click OK. It's going to think about some here real quick. There it is. Restart your computer, apply the changes. Click OK again. Back on the system properties dialog box, go ahead and click close. Restart your computer, apply these changes appears again, but go ahead and click restart now. Server 1's done, guys. But when it reboots, something significant is going to happen, okay? We'll see that here in a little bit. Let's go to server 2 and get server 02 done. Minimize server 01 to your taskbar. Let's go to server 2. And look, server manager's already loaded, so we need to change the background, right? To change the background, just minimize server manager, and you'll see your background of your virtual. Right click the desktop, go to screen resolution again. All right, there's the screen resolution page. Go ahead and change the resolution to 1920 by 1080. Click apply and select keep changes. That's good to go. And click OK to close out the window. And now you can full screen your virtual and bring server manager back up. All right, now that we got Server Manager back up, on the left-hand side where it says local server, go ahead and click local server again, just like we did with the earlier virtual machine. And we're going to do the same thing we just did to server 02 that we did to server 01. First thing again, time zone. Let's wait for this page to fully load. All right. Looks like it's loaded. Go ahead and change the time zone. Click on Pacific time. On the date and time page, go ahead and put a change time zone. And on the time zone settings, go back to Mountain Time. Click OK. And on the date and time page, click OK, and that's done. IE Enhanced Security Configuration. Don't forget to turn this off. Click the on link and change it off for both administrators and users. And click OK. All right, it hasn't updated, so let's go to tasks up here at the top right. Click the task button and hit refresh. And boom. There they go, off and Mountain Time. Let's go to the NIC. Let's change the NIC for server 02. And the network connections window appears. Right click the NIC and let's rename it first. It's connected to the private switch, right? Let's call it private. And once you got it renamed, press enter to save the new name. And let's configure its settings. So right click your private NIC. And from the context menu that appears, go to properties. Your properties pane is going to appear. There it is. Take out IP version 6 for now. We're not going to use it yet. Double click IP version 4 and put a dot in use the following IP address. So we're going to put a static IP address again. Don't forget to hit the numlock key, guys. Every time you switch virtual machines, it turns the numlock key off. For your IP address, according to the handout, it's going to be 192.168.1.60. All right, hit the tab key. It's going to give you the 255.255.255.0 Sunday mask. That's a default Sunday mask for Class C. That's perfect. For your default gateway, 192.168.1.50. That's RWDC01, which is also your router and also your DNS server. So also for the DNS server address, 192.168.1.50. All right, now that that's done, double check your IP address settings. Make sure you typed them in correctly, not backwards. Not the wrong numbers. Click OK. Your IP addresses are done. Back on your private properties dialog box, you guys can click OK to save the settings and close it out. And on your network connections window, you're going to get a blue bar up here on the right here in just a moment. There it is. Networks. You want to find PCs, devices, and content? You can click yes. All right, I'm going to click yes on that. And now I'm going to close the network connections window out. Last thing we need to do on this server, technically not last, let's change the computer name and add it to the domain. Let's look at the computer name on this one. Gibberish again. Let's change it. System properties dialog box appears again. Don't forget, go to the change button. And let's change the name to server 02, correct? All right, so the computer name is now server 02. We're going to change the member of to a domain. And our domain is Contoso, right? ContosoYourNumber.com. ContosoYourNumber.com. All right. Once you got that typed in again, click OK. And you should, got an error gun. Let's see. Details. Always read your error messages, guys. The following domain controllers were identified by the query. Okay. However, the domain controller could not be contacted. Really? Why not? I typed in everything correctly. I'm going to try again, guys. DNS are not running. Okay, something's going on here. I'm going to double check the domain name, server 02, ContosoYourNumber.com. Okay, what's multiple IP addresses? What's going on here? Something happened to my NIC. I don't know why. Let me troubleshoot real quick. 192.168.1.5060. Oh, you know what? IP address conflict. There should be 70. Guys, I gave you the wrong IP address. I actually screwed up at 70. My bad. Click OK. All right, that should solve that problem. All right, add it to the domain. There we go. Administrator and password to log on to the domain. Domain's already listed as contosonumber.com. Go ahead and click OK. And hopefully you get that welcome message here any second now. Come on, computer, you can do it. There it is. Welcome to contoso.com. Go ahead and click OK. Computer name domain changes page. Well, that'll disappear in a moment. We got to restart. Click OK. It disappeared. System properties page is now last. Click close. And you guys can hit restart now. All right, so server 2 is going to reboot. It's going to become a member of the domain now. So let's go back to server 01. Let's log into server 01. Oh, there's that connect to window. I'm trying to connect to server 01. Guys, don't forget, close it out. Server 01. All right, now I'm on server 01. Control Alt End. All right, now, guys, don't forget, look at your logon screen here. What does it say right here on my screen? Server 01 / administrator. Don't forget, that is a local administrator account, not a domain administrator account. You cannot perform any domain administrative tasks. Don't forget. We got to change this, right? So we got to click the little arrow back button. So we're going to click arrow back. We're going to go to other user. And now we're going to type in Contoso our number / administrator. So type in Contoso, your number / administrator, and the logon screen, and your password. Now you're logging in as a domain admin. You have full administrative rights now for the domain. All right, so that's coming up. Let it load the profile. Let's see how server 2 is doing here real quick. It wants to connect. I'm going to cancel that window. It's still booting up. Let's go back to server 1. The last thing we really need to do, check your license. Windows license valid for 180 days. Verify that, guys. If you don't get this, it still says expired. Please contact your instructor, probably me. I'll help you fix that. Let's change the power options here. So I'm going to go power options again for server 01 now. Change it to high performance. Hit change plan settings. And change both the turn off display to never for both on battery and plugged in. I don't want your virtual machine to automatically lock the desktop on you. Save those changes and you guys can close out power options. Server 01 is now ready for labs. Let's go back to server 02. Let's log on to server 02. There's the same problem again. It says server 02 administrator, not Contoso your number administrator. Hit the back button again here on the left. Click on another user. And in the username field, type in Contoso your number / administrator and your password. Let's watch this one log in for the first time under the domain as a domain member. All right, user profiles loading. Server 02 is up. And look at the bottom right. Windows license is valid for 180 days. Your eval activated. You have nothing to worry about. If it says expired, please contact your instructor, which probably is going to be me. All right. Go ahead and change the power options again for server 02. So right click your power icon on the bottom, go to power options. When the power options page appears again, click on high performance and click the change plan settings link on the right. And once you get the turn off display screen, go ahead and change it to never on both battery and plugged in. Save changes, and that will prevent your screen from being locked. after 15 minutes of idle time. Well, guys, that's it. Your virtual machines are now ready for labs. You can either shut them down if we haven't started lab yet. All right, so to shut them down, if you guys remember, just click on Start. I'm going to go to server 01. I think server 01's ready. Server 02 is still loading. All right, so click on Start for server 01. When you get to the start screen, here's a power button. Click on Power, select Shutdown. You guys can leave other unplanned, but don't forget, if this was an actual production server, you want to select the proper code. All right, we're not going to select any codes for now, so just go ahead and click Continue. Server 01 is going to go down. And stopping services. Server 1 is off. Let's do the same thing for server 02. She's ready to shut down. She's fully loaded. Power, shut down, continue. Server 02 is going down. All right, that one's done. Last but not least, the domain controller. I'm going to shut the domain controller down last. That's just me personally. That's how I like to do things. Domain controller is always the last server to shut down. All right, so start, power, shut down, continue. And our WDC1 is now shutting down. Your domain controller is going down now. It's going to sleep. You're going to notice that this server takes a little bit longer to shut down because it has more to worry about because it's running Active Directory. So that's normal. All right, you guys can close out your virtuals. Those are done. If you're already ready to start lab, go ahead and start lab. Don't, if I already started lab with you guys, please catch up. All right. That's it for this video, guys. Get ready for the next one.